Welcome to the Fibre Guys Corner with your host, me, Adam Foster. So today, guys, I have Beverly coming in. She's actually one of my older clients from a couple of years ago who made a full recovery from fibromyalgia, and she's here today to talk about kind of her journey and some of the things she learned along the way and some of the things that she wished she had known before she started, and especially when she was in pain. So, let's do it. So with me I have Bev, and as somebody who has gone from being in chronic pain with horrendous fatigue and pain constantly to somebody who is now recovered, back at work and enjoying life and back to the social kind of norms of what people do when they're not in pain. How are you finding it?
I'm loving it, Adam. Yeah, obviously when I first started, which is 2015, like I'd been through that many different routes to try and get better, etc. So initially I was very apprehensive, but quickly with the program learned a lot of things, had a few revelations along the way, and I've made a massive recovery.
So for people listening at home, what would you say are the top three things that are the biggest things that you've learned along the way, and the things that you kind of want to let people listening at home know?
Yeah, I think the top one for me is probably about trusting my body again, because obviously when you're in pain, you don't trust your body. You're worried about that your body's going to let you down because it already has. And with that, really, that pain's not about damage. I remember the first time that I actually lifted weights with you. It was like, oh God, I can't do that because it's going to hurt my back, etc. Yeah. And then absolutely fine. And if anything, I went out the session on an ultimate high. And that gives you that adrenaline boost, you know, the serotonin, etc. It makes you feel a lot better, and you start to believe and trust in your body again.
Yeah. What do you think's the biggest factor that makes people not trust their body?
I think it's a combination. I think it's experiences, what you're told by people. You know, I got told you've hit your limit, you know, you can't do anything more for you.
PSN.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, you're just going to have to accept it. So I think you get conditioned as to that's the way you believe your body is, so you don't trust your body.
Not just socially, from people telling you that, but I suppose past experiences as well.
Exactly,
if one time you tried to pick up the washing basket and your back, air quote, went, then every time you subsequently try and pick it up, you're going to get the same output, the same thing is going to happen, and it just becomes a big kind of hoo-ha.
Definitely. And it's not just the medical profession though, it's like, social. You know, I would go after on a high saying I've lifted this weight, and people go, oh, should you be doing that with a bad back, etc. So it's constantly you get labelled. I think that's what it is, and the label of bad back, chronic pain, fibromyalgia, etc. And you can sometimes just accept that label, but you need to be open to listening to other options that are available. I mean, I stumbled across your details, and at first I think I contacted you, didn't I? And then you didn't hear from us for a while because I was probably having a blip there, and it did affect us. It not just did affect us physically, but the mental side of it.
It's a big part of it.
It is, and I think that's another thing that's very much, it's like the psychological side of it, where it's if you can get your mindset right and you can believe in the mindset, the physical comes now. So for me, the benefit now, the physical is secondary. So I know I can do it. I know I can pick things up. I know I can do what I want to do and more. An excellent flight to New York, which I never thought I would be able to do. And for me, it's that constant boost in terms of the psychological side of it, and the understanding of how pain works.
Yeah, so that's a big, not the only part, or not a huge part, but a small component to it. And the thing is, pain is complicated because people are complicated.
Yeah.
There's a lot of biological factors that will influence pain, and a shit ton of psychological ones, and then you've got all the social aspects, culture, family, friends, kind of social norms that all influence your biology and your psychology. I think people need to understand it's not as simple as René Descartes' old Cartesian model of pain. There's a lot of factors that go in it, and to reduce pain down and say it's this one thing that's causing it, your kneecap's slightly misaligned, it's just trivializes pain really, of how complicated it actually is. It's just ridiculous when you think about it.
Yeah, and like you say, how you feel is not a reliable indicator of what's going on.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of people with things like chronic fatigue, they use the spoon theory, for which I am an absolute, not an advocate for. I absolutely hate it. It's a big nocebo. People are not batteries, no matter how you try and describe it. Things like ATP, you only have enough ATP in your system for 2 to 3 seconds. So if you can do anything more than 2 to 3 seconds, you're not a battery.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that's the point of pain and fatigue. They're not there as a situation report, a sit rep to say, oh, Bev, just let you know, this is what your knee's like. Because your knee can feel like it's completely destroyed, but you can have an X-ray MRI and there may be no damage whatsoever.
Yeah.
So the thing is, pain's not there as a situation report. It's there as a conditioning tool. Stop doing this, Bev. We think, I know, because the thing is, if for the reasons we've already discussed, you think your back's damaged or your knee's damaged, then every time you try and put weight through them or you try and use them, your brain's not going to be happy about that. It's going to kick some pain out. You're going to end up in more pain, and then that becomes another past experience, which you're going to use in the future to figure out whether or not should I create pain in this situation to stop Bev kneeling down on her knees. Or like your back, we had to do a shit ton of work around your whole back. I mean, backs are ridiculously strong. Your human body's designed to chase mammoths for 4 days at a time to push them off the edges of cliffs, you know what I mean? Picking a 20-kilo dumbbell off the floor, it's not going to kill you.
No.
But the whole point of you being in pain is the protection response.
And I think you touched on something there with the MRI. A lot of the time where you've got chronic pain, one of the routes, you go down the route of an MRI or an X, and it's very much you've got degeneration, you've got this. But I know from the information you shared, where people could have an exact identical MRI to myself, but not be in pain. So that's a clear indicator of...
Yeah, there isn't a gold standard for what a body should look like for somebody who's in pain. Even osteoarthritis is... When you think about it, osteo means bone, arth means joint, nitis means inflammation. But osteoarthritis is inflammatory, it's degenerative. So to start with, it's named wrong.
Yeah.
We've also got, fossils with osteoarthritis. It should just be called age-related changes.
Yeah.
What would be weird is if you hit, say, 40, 50, and you didn't have any osteoarthritis. And the thing is, it doesn't link with pain at all. I mean, they took one study a while ago, 4,500 people, they MRI'd and X-rayed, and 80% of them had hip pain. Sorry, 4,500 people, some of them had hip pain, some of them didn't. And what they found was 80% of people who did have hip pain didn't have osteoarthritis. But more importantly, 85% of the people that they found did have hip osteoarthritis didn't have any pain. It just doesn't correlate, the data's there. I think we need to move away from this whole pain equaling damage thing.
Yeah.
Stop nocebo in people and starting to get people used to moving again and understanding that how they feel isn't an adequate description of what's actually going on in the body.
But that's exactly it, isn't it? Where you damage is a negative word, and when you go down, you go and you get an MRI. It's like you've got damage, so you feel negative about it. You go to the GP, they give you medication. It's like I'm on medication because there's something wrong, negative. And that's what I've found about the whole program. My whole mindset has changed to positive. I look forward to coming.
Spiral you up rather than spiral down.
So I don't feel negative. I feel actually stronger. Not just physically but mentally about it, because I think I've been pushed down because I've been told there's something wrong with me, and I've actually conquered it, and I'm doing well, and I'll continue to do that, and it's that buzz of it, look, and you can see yourself changing.
I think people need to understand as well that it's not an easy process to get better, and more importantly, it's definitely not a linear one.
No.
In any kind of recovery, be it chronic pain or alcoholism, there always has to be slight little relapses. It's in every recovery plan. So the thing is, there will be little blips along the way where you'll have had, remember when you had, was it 3-4 weeks without any back pain, you were feeling great, and then it was one of the first nights you went out with your friends and you slipped.
Fell over,
straight away in. Adam, I think I've damaged my back. I've definitely damaged my back. And just slowly undoing some of the work we've done. But we ironed that out, hammered it back down.
And it makes you stronger, because you think, well, that happened, and I came through it. So if it happens again, and I've had other blips as well. It's not. I've probably had 4 or 5 since I've been coming to see you, and you go through that, but that's part of the process.
That's it. There's no nobody gets an easy version.
No, definitely not.
Unfortunately. The thing is, I had no program. I had to figure this thing out for myself.
Yeah.
I didn't have a wall full of people who'd done it before. It was very much trial and error. I put my back out twice trying to figure out how to stretch properly. Which is ridiculous when you think about it. Yeah. Go on, Bev. One more. What do you think's, for people listening at home, what do you think's been one of the biggest parts of your recovery? Or tell you what, actually, here's a better question. Imagine you hadn't, if you were sat at home listening to this now, what piece of advice would you give yourself? If you could tell, like, 2014 Bev before you recovered?
I think for me, it's the whole trust thing. It's like, you know, take the leap of faith.
Use your body.
Yeah, believe in your body. Don't believe everything that you're being told. And especially with the program with you, you know, it's the testimonials are there, you know, and I've seen some of these people physically come through it. So, you know.
Well, look at Lisa.
Exactly.
She was in a wheelchair.
Exactly.
After her accident.
That's my story I tell to other people. I tell them about Lisa and how far she's come, and she was, you know, in a wheelchair, etc. And now she's doing runs, she's back to full-time work, and the physical, you know, transformation.
The psychological, affects the social. The social affects the psychological, the social affects the biological. They're all interlinking factors that contribute to your experience as a person.
Yeah.
What I've always loved is the fact that everybody kind of becomes a little family.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And you bounce off each other, and you know, and I think ultimately you get your life back, you know, and
support network of people who've done it and been there.
Yeah. And what you put in, you get out, you know, but you've got the guidance and the support and people that are challenging you in the right positive way to do that.
Plus, nocebo free. Nobody telling you, oh, we'll be because everybody's been through not a similar journey, but with different kind of obstacles in the way.
Yeah, definitely. And things like for me, I was on loads of medication. They wanted to put us on morphine daily release. I'm not on any of that now. Yeah. And that's a massive thing for anyone with back pain. Yeah.
I like just seeing you going to work, back to normality, doing just normal things.
Giving you cheek.
Giving me cheek, yeah, as Beverly always does. Yeah, cool. All right. Thanks a lot, Bev.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks for listening, guys. If you've got any questions or for Beverly or me, or if you want to suggest some things for us to talk about, please drop me a line on the different social media platforms or give me an email at adam.foster@thefiberguy.com. See you on the flip side, guys. Bye.